Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video, and today I want to show you everything I've done over the past year to my Toyota Tacoma. If you've been part of the channel for any amount of time, you know I love to fish. I have 4-foot to 7-foot rods from everything for fresh, salt water, deep sea, does not matter. Problem is, I have a 5-foot bed. I could transport the 4-foot rods no problem, but when it came to the longer rods, there wasn't a great way to store them. I was also worried about stuff in here banging around against them, and I couldn't stop anywhere. And if I'm going on a 2-hour drive to go fishing, it would be nice to stop, go get gas, and not have to worry about your rods or reels being stolen. Fortunately, I found a pretty good solution that fit perfectly on the Prince roof rack. I decided to go with the Rhino Racks. Now the Rhino Rack is a polymer body. It's got these rubber gaskets on both sides that close quite snugly around items. And all you gotta do, if I press a button, lift it up, and this was originally made for skis. However, they added these little divots in, which are perfect for rods of medium heavy to ultralight diameter. Now, you can still put heavy rods up here, no question about that. They just won't go into these little divots, but they will be secure. That I have no concern about. In the year that I've had these, I haven't had to tighten them once. I've been through a car wash, I don't know how many times. I've had rods up here on 2+ hour trips. Never have been concerned about them slipping, anything like that. They were just the way they were when I initially put them in for when I finally got to my destination. Now, the other benefit about this is that it's lockable. So, when you shut it, simply take your key, turn it, and now it's locked. Somebody could break into this. However, if you just want to run to a gas station or you need to run into a Walmart or any store, this is an advantageous way to secure your items versus just throwing them in the bed and hopefully nobody comes and gets them. The other benefit of the Rhino Rack is that you don't have to put skis or fishing equipment up here. You can put traction boards, you can put shovels, you can put axes, whatever you need. You can get these in different sizes, put them up here, throw them in the Rhino Rack, and you're all set. So you can switch your equipment out depending on the time of year or the trip you're taking. Another small mod that made a big difference was my tag lights. I had halogens, I replaced those with an LED bulb. They started flickering after only a couple of months. So rather than risk getting pulled over and dealing with that nonsense, I ended up changing out the entire housing with an LED fixture, and now it is super bright. Not only does this shine your tag like it should, but it's going to shine this entire back step, as well as the opposite one's going to shine all of this as well, making it much easier to see at night. And I didn't realize how advantageous that was going to be until recently when one of my friends got stuck in the mud and I had to go pull them out. The only problem with having very bright LEDs is that the camera, usually on the tailgate, it's going to mess with the ISO reading on this. So it's going to be very fuzzy, very grainy, and basically unusable at nighttime. But if you're okay with that, this is definitely a good upgrade to make. One of my pet peeves when it comes to my vehicle is I don't like damage. On the exterior, I don't like scratches and dents if I can help it, and on the interior, I don't want stains or cuts in the fabric. I fortunately haven't had those yet, but in order to ensure that doesn't happen, I did go ahead and get some seat covers. These are the Rough Country seat covers, and the fit of them around the seat is actually quite good. The only thing I will say is the lumbar support bar right here. They didn't give access to it, which is a little bit aggravating, but the seat cover itself looks quite nice. If I could, I would omit the symbol and just get this straight black. No marketing or anything of that nature, but with this neoprene material, it is very water resistant, so it protects against mud, water, things of that nature after days at the beach, surf fishing, so that's a benefit. Also, pet hair, it will still get into this fabric, but not nearly as bad as cloth seats, and it's definitely a lot easier to vacuum out. This is definitely going to help with the resale value in the future if you decide to resell, and on top of that, it's going to be way easier to clean. If this just gets absolutely covered with mud, you can simply take it, fold it, throw it into the washing machine, and then throw it back into the vehicle once you're done. The biggest change I've made over the last year is my tire. Now, you could spend an entire video talking about different tire types and everything, but I'll try to make the synopsis a little bit quicker. I spend 95% of my time either city or highway driving, and maybe 5% off-road, so not an incredible amount. That being said, I need something that gave me better traction off-road, especially when it came to dirt, gravel, and even mud. Now, I wasn't looking for a mud tire because I didn't want something that was going to drone on and absolutely kill my fuel economy. But I did want something that, if put into mud, would do a sufficient job for just doing it every once in a while. So I came to the decision of getting an all-terrain. This is the Wild Peak, and it has a 3 snowflake rating. That doesn't mean much to me here in the South, but it does have good wet performance, and that is significant. I live in one of the top 5 rainiest cities in the US, so having good stopping distance in the rain is important. I also wanted something that was going to be fairly quiet on the road, which these definitely are, and I have used it off-road, especially getting firewood and stuff like that for the upcoming hunting season. Never had an issue with these tires, always had great traction, and that's something I can't say for the stock tires. I also went up in tire size. I went from a 70 to a 75, which added a little less than an inch or so. It looks a little bit beefier. My only complaint is I wish I didn't get the E-rated. I wanted to get a C-rated tire, which is a 6-ply, much lighter than these, but they only had E-rated or passenger rated, and they could not get C-rated at all due to everything going on. Since I do a good bit of towing, in the last 3,000 miles, I've done 2,000 miles of towing, I'd rather have a heavier duty tire than something with less ply, because the passenger tire, it would just wear down quickly, whereas these are made for 2,500 Chevy pickups, really, and they're on my Tacoma. 10-ply tire, a lot heavier than a C-rated tire, and that's not going to help your fuel economy at all, but I'm still getting decent mileage. Tires are going to last a very long time, hopefully, on this vehicle, and I really can't complain all that much. They've done excellent off-road, excellent towing, and very smooth ride overall. The only reason these tires now work on my vehicle is because of the last and by far best and most important mod I did this year, and that is the OV Tune. I went around looking on Facebook, and I finally found a guy that could do it for me, and I'm telling you, I messaged him within 3 minutes. I was in the car, drove 5 hours away to meet him. I hate the transmission in this thing stock, drove me up the wall, and I was either going to have to sell the vehicle or get it fixed because I was just absolutely done with it after 40,000 miles. So I went ahead, got the Tune, and holy cow, what a significant difference it made. As far as even towing small loads, it's not changing gears nearly as often versus the stock transmission changing all the time. And even with no load in the vehicle, it was changing like crazy, whereas now sits in 5th or 6th gear, 70 miles an hour, cruises like a dream compared to what it was stock. Very happy with that, and you're going to see a little bit of that while I head back to the house. Cruising about 45 right now, but when you step on it with the OV Tune, it's going to go all the way up past the red line, get you really going. Not too bad, a lot better than what it was stock, really impressive. With the stock Tune, it meanders for a little bit, finally drops down in gears, and then you go. But you're never going to redline, usually about 5,000 RPM, it go ahead and shifts, versus getting that additional power higher in the RPM band with the OV Tune. But the biggest thing I love about it is the way this thing drives on the interstate when cruising. Keep in mind, I have a E-rated tire instead of a C-rated, much heavier, and it's a 75 instead of a 70, so a little bit bigger. I'm doing 65, and I am staying in 5th gear consistently. That's a big deal. When you're running the stock Tune on the 2017, 2016, 2018, 2019s, generally, this is going to be shifting all over the place, and right now I would generally be running in 4th gear rather than 5th. Now, this will drop down to 6 on some hills, however, most of the time it stays in 5th, but it stays there consistently instead of shift hunting and things of that nature. Now, I'm about to hit an incline here, and it's probably going to drop down to 4th, but on the other side, it's immediately going to go back down into 5th. So there we go, it just went into 4th. We're going to get to the top of this hill. Transmission's going to realize it doesn't need to be, and boom, back down to 5th, just like that. Very, very smooth shifts as well. I'm stopped here and I'm about to come onto the highway, but let's do a little bit of a 0 to 60 once I get on here. Definitely not a sports car, but definitely got up there. Can't complain too much. Well guys, that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to share, like, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.